we ought to get started. So, hey everyone, and it's great to be back for our second episode of the Crypto Art Critique. I think everyone who's here was here at the last one, so that's fantastic. And yeah, you'll all be familiar with the kind of rules of the critique. I'll just explain them again, just so we have an understanding of what we're here for. Um, so. Um, we have a backlog of artists from last week who will start first, presenting artworks. Carolina brought up a good point. Perhaps 5 minutes isn't. I know we need to accumulate thoughts, and I guess this has been tested throughout the critiques, but um, on average, I think maybe 3 minutes might be optimal just to kind of get our ideas together. Um, but step one is that we look at an artist's work, the artist presents their work, and they take an aside, essentially, um, mute themselves, and we just kind of converge our ideas, write them down for 3 minutes. And once that time is up, we all come together with the artist still muted and just exchange ideas about what we see in front of us. So any iconography, any symbolism, any kind of technical approaches that we like, or things that we don't like, or things that we think can be improved. We converge these thoughts together for 5 minutes, and then we bring the artist in and allow them to explain what their intentions were, and see if we were somewhat accurate with our observations. So that's the structure again. And I think we have a lot of fun lined up for us today. So Pavel, we've been talking for the past like 15 minutes and talking about their work, which I won't mention the name of, but I will instead share my screen on my phone. This might be a bit tricky because I think I need to jump out of this. I mean, I need to jump out of my laptop and jump into my phone for a quick second. But hopefully it will work. Uh, Hang on just a second. Okay. Okay, so I hope you guys can see me. I'm just going to start the broadcast. The broadcast. And you'll have to excuse my room. It is my room. So cool. So if I just go to XR Viewer and let's just see here. Oh, okay, no sound. Uh, yeah. Sorry, is that better? I just unmuted and muted. Hmm. Okay, cool. A few people can hear. That's good. uh, oh, I see. Okay, nice. All right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go. Okay, super. So, I mean, yeah, welcome to my room, everyone. It is an interesting state, so I'm gonna hold it in one position. I'm gonna hit confirm, and I know we said maybe if I can. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna focus on this part of my room, Pavel. I hope that's okay. And I'm gonna walk around the work, and I'm gonna mute myself, just so that I'm not being loud or I don't know irritating. I don't know. Does that sound okay? I'm just looking at the chat. So if you have any questions or anything, then I'll just keep an eye on it. And yeah, okay. So um, three 3 minutes starting now. Okay, sorry. Did you guys catch all that? I really hope you did. Ah, super. Okay, good. Excuse the state of my room. I'm going to jump on my computer again. Okay, yeah, sorry, that those are the escapades of my room, but I hope. Yeah, okay, great. No, it doesn't. Uh, um, so Emily says it's great that we're having feedback so quickly. Thank you, guys. So Emily, for initial impressions, I love the somewhat Spectre-like feel of this piece, and especially how the AR form melds with the room, how it's really a part of it, unlike any other AR that I have seen. So not Squirtle. um, oh yeah, sorry, Panyo, can you hear me? Okay, okay, okay. Um, I don't know if that was me or if it was yeah, but anyway. Um, so it's great. I agree, Emily. It definitely felt like it was part of the room. I think it felt ghostly as well. I mean, I don't know if you saw, I was just putting my hand uh, in it, and it just seemed to be merging with it. Like it, I think it was a very interesting part of the piece. Um, yeah, Evelyn says, yeah, um, it's kind of ghostly, and it feels like something that would have been there all the time, but can only be seen through a specific technology. In this case, the phone. Another dimension of the same space. Yes, it does feel ghostly, and yeah, it's interesting how this piece can only be seen through like your mobile. Although actually, no, I think Pavel mentioned it was you could view it on your iPad as well, but still like a tablet device. Um, and Carolina says it was like an entity of light visiting you. I thought of James Turrell and a pure experience of light. That is a great reference, and I totally see where you're coming from with that. Thank you, Carolina. Um, yes, and yeah, if you guys had a play with it on your side, just yeah, feel free to let Pavel know how you felt. Um, so it felt like it was it's kind of it's been a nice evening here, and uh, there's been some light projected on the side of the room, and this piece kind of blended into the room as well. So it felt kind of very natural, which um, when it comes to AR works that I've seen, so like I've seen some amazing ones like Manuel Rosner's works, that kind of immersion. I think it's playing with that kind of level of immersion. Filippo says that it reminded them of a ghostly entity inhabiting a digital space, which brings up interesting questions about what space art could inhabit. Yes, yes, it does. Um, Maybe it can inhabit every space, every dimension. Um, this puts that to question. Nominal says that they feel really calmed by the piece, loving how the technology is being utilized to create this something that feels so real. And I mean, yeah, it is tangible. I mean, somewhat tangible. Um, and it does feel like you are touching something um, otherworldly. Um, Evelyn says it's kind of also like the light got stuck. I agree, actually. I thought what was interesting when I tried to put my phone over to the window that it didn't move with it. So it's interesting how these AR works, like in this case, with Pavel's work, it's like it's almost site specific within my room, which is pretty cool. Um, I'm not sure I'd actually want it to move with me. I like how we have as subjects we have to go to it. Um, and yeah, Nominal says that it reminded them of a piece that they saw at Pioneer Works, Medusa by Tim Drum, a VR piece that took up the entire space. If you have a link to that, Nominal, I don't know if you do, that would be cool for comparison. Ah, fantastic. Thank you. Um, Ivan says that they loved the experience. It makes them remember of dreams that they forgot. Maybe facing a life-ending situation or the other way around. The moment of a human being is born. That is a beautiful observation. Thank you for that. Espinosa says, "I'll just do a few more of these and then we'll open the floor to Pavel." This was worth the wait. So Espinosa adds that the title definitely gives away a little bit about the metaphysical aspect folks are perceiving. Love the idea of neo-religious totems inhabiting the virtual space. Cyber mysticism. That is that is a great that is a great noun to associate with this work. So um yeah, so I think I hope you guys enjoyed that. And thank you, Nominal, for introducing Tin Drum. But now I think we should open the floor to Pavel and see what the work is all about.
Hi, thank you for all the feedback. Well, the reflections were right because Totem was created initially for the exhibition at Mark Rothko Center in Latvia, in Daugavpils, and the title of the exhibition or the theme of the exhibition was New Spirituality. So I was thinking, how can I express this topic that is uh, through. I didn't want to talk about any specific kind of spirituality, and the idea of the totem came to my mind that basically all of us have totems who are not necessarily a religious object or a religious or a deity or any kind of spiritual experience, but it can be something more mundane like our goals in life or family or friends, etc. So, well, that's the idea behind the work, and the twist. I asked you to let me know if you played on your own, because the link I gave you is not entire. I mean, it's generative, so it is generated, but uh, the the totem is there's a one totem for each device. So Harry, you will always have this totem that you've seen, and probably everybody else will have their own totems, because it is generated based on device ID. So everybody gets like a separate experience, and I was wondering if there would be discussion like, oh, you had this blue one and I had this green one, or I had this palette or something, or your was in one place and mine was all over my place, etc. It I had this idea that people are playing with their phones during the exhibition or later on, and they are experiencing it. But since the phone is such a small device, so personal, they're not experiencing what other people will be experiencing. So they could only talk about it, not directly see or what other people saw. Yeah. So I think that's it.
Wow. Wow. So thank you. I think that the way you talked about totems then, Pavel, that as the audience we were close, figurative, which is a good thing. I mean, I guess we weren't focusing so much on a specific religion, but more like a ghostly, ethereal presence, and so that's cool. That's close. It's really close, and you know what's even cooler is the fact that yeah, as Emily says, as Altnon and everyone who's just commented about the generative aspect of this work, that adds a very unique dimension to this piece. I mean, um, I'd be quite content having just the one version, but when you put it that many dimensions on it, and then we think back to the theme of totems and everyone having their own, as you say, um, that adds another layer of immersion, and I think that is quite beautiful. I'm glad I didn't read the description first though, because like, um, yeah, I think that would have spoiled the surprise a little bit. But um, yeah, so uh, everyone, does anyone have any last comments to offer Pavel? Great start to the session. Very moving. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is a moving one. Thank you, Nominee.
Can I ask something by voice?
Yeah, of course.
Is there any other manifestation other than the AR, VR experience? Is there any other way of experiencing it?
You can experience it with mobile device. Basically, any Android phone, it should work on Chrome browser, or on Apple devices, it needs WebXR viewer. Yeah, so basically you need mobile device because it doesn't work this way on PCs, on computers.
That's interesting. I mean, as you say, like the mobile viewport kind of has the viewer forced to interact with the work rather than with just this thing. Yeah, but great question, Carolina. So I think we're going to move on. Thank you, Pavel, for the great deep dive. It's been really great, and totems, and yeah, great work. So everyone, I think we can move on to our next artist. Dave, sorry, I think you're up next, but is Dave? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
Dave.
here. Right.
Good, thank you. Would you mind sharing the link again? I'm really sorry. I know you posted it last week. And then I will share my screen. Super. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to go into this blind. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, super. Okay. And I'd advise that you guys try it on your side as well, because it not knowing any context, anything could happen, which is great. So yeah, without further ado, this is Dave's work. Oh yeah. Okay, grand, cool. Thanks, Dave. So we'll give it 3 minutes, have a play, and we'll come back with some initial comments. Okay, so Dave's work starting now.
So the question in the top, I don't know if I'm cheating by saying this, it just has to end in a question mark for it to work.
Not at all, not at all. I was like, oh yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, back to it.
That was like my only parameter. I was like trying to make people work for it a little bit instead of just like keep pressing deal over and over again.
Yeah, everyone. We are getting into this work straight away. So I'm gonna go with, I mean, this is another dimension, another take on things. I've never seen a work, just as an observation, that has asked me a question before. I've seen works in this residency previously that uses generative art combined with your camera, and it interacts with your video and use a subject. But I've not seen a work that is interactive where you ask it a question and you get given a fortune card, and it's just I think the titles of these works are delightful. I and in the comment, yeah, Espinosa commented that it's the there's an interesting layer of I not satire going on here with these kind of corporate titles like Smart Speak with Screen, Quantum Internet, and Three of Smart Cups. I mean, I guess it's intriguing. I mean, I think I'm going to shut up for a few minutes, but I want people to let me know what they like about, or yeah, what they think's interesting about this piece. Yeah, so Altnon comments that they love the tech update on Tarot, Death as a 3D organ printing. Emily comments that she very much likes the idea of ancient future, the imagery you display for each card, and the overall concept that we are forever and will forever want to know the future. And that's a great question, Emily, as well. Thank you for that initial observation. We'll find out in a few minutes whether this series uses AI, something like Midjourney, to create these images. I think the quality of the images are particularly interesting as well, because they feel so. I know they're meant to be playing cards. They feel very tangible. I think that's a hard thing to obtain with like generative projects. Like, this feels like an object like you could hold that you can immerse yourself with, and they feel mystical. And I'm just wondering what the prompts are. You know, like what went behind these kind of interesting gestures over here, and just the kind of little the indents that come from it, like between the surface of the card, and very interesting motifs going on. Yeah, exactly, Carolina. Like the carved in stone, like an ancient mythical tablet. Cyber mysticism. Yeah, exactly, Altnon. Again, that is tonight's theme so far. And yeah, it's got a lot of layers to this one. Let's see. Maybe if I ask one more time. Is Cohort 6 the best VCA cohort of them all? Bit of a rhetorical question. Huh. Page of Smart Cups. I love reading these. I think one thing I missed was that this sentence that we're presented with as well. Well, actually, it's a couple of sentences. There's a positive tone, and like a very positive tone that comes with nuances of like exploration and embracing emotions, and a lot of personal kind of interaction, but they still feel kind of standing offish. I think it's when we talk about I don't know, like maybe it's the use of technology, like the references of the internet, yeah, the online party planning app as well. It's interesting. Sungrazer says that they love how we interact and gain a response for ourselves, and also how we gain knowledge of how we can give it back. Yeah, exactly. It's got this kind of it has this very strong interaction with us as viewers. We have to contribute to it as much as it contributes to us, which is cool. Pavel comments, are smart cups the cyber mystic smarty pants? You know what? let's ask a question. Let's ask a question. It's rare to come across works that make us laugh as well, which I find is quite intriguing. Night of Smart Cups, the streaming movie with interactive elements, represents action and courage in the emotional and relation aspects of life. The movie of inaction is over, and the movie of doing is upon us. I could read this forever, but it's very interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to give this one more minute, and we will check in with Dave and see if we are close to what the work is about.
Sir, can I say
Yeah,
in
please.
voice? Yeah. So I feel like this is the coolest tarot deck I've seen in my life for 100%. Yeah, I feel like it's really inspiring and feels inspired. I actually have a couple of cards. One of them is 15 Oracle Arcane. Yeah, and it's kind of really got in my mind. I always reminded of what it says and how it looks. Yeah, so this is really, I feel like it's really great and spiritual and yeah, modern work. Yeah, I was really surprised to see it, and yeah, I'm really amazed. Thanks, Dave. Really great.
Thank you, Anton. Thank you for that. So Nominal ask a question. Excuse me. They're very curious about the role of AI, if any, in image generation and text generation. And Carolina adds, "Did you write all the card meanings as well?" So, oh, Anton, one of the first collectors. Okay, wow, we have someone from the primary market here. Cool. So I think I'm going to shut up now, and I think it'd be good if we gave Dave the floor.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of walk through the whole process. Everybody's pretty much on the right trail. But I guess I started from a place of thinking that every tarot deck is using symbols that represent archetypes that are eternal, but the symbols are related to our culture and our time period and geography and everything. So I kind of asked an AI, just Chat GPT, what would be like the most contemporary symbols for every one of these archetypes in a tarot deck. And I started with I was like, maybe the 20th century to now or something. But then I kept making it like more and more micro in the prompts to being like, I'm like, what about the past 10 years? And then it became like, what about the past 2 years? So this is like, everything in here is kind of just like things that have been invented in the past couple years, or maybe are on the brink of being invented. That's why a lot of the things I think are like digital tech products versions of 20th century things. Like it'll be like the VR psychiatrist, or like a refrigerator with automatic restocking or something like that. And that's why it has to be so specific written out like that. And then Carolina, the card meanings are they were from prompts, but then definitely edited a lot by myself and then another collaborator. And yeah, and the images also AI generated. I try to make it so every suit is a different material. So there's kind of but the material is supposed to be eternal, or as, I don't know, not primitive or something, but that could have been made in any age or something. So it's sort of like dirt, mud, stone, sand. And then the major arcana are like kind of carved out of stone with like moss growing on them or something like this. And oh yeah, and then for the titles, like the smart cards and stuff, like I think I just asked ChatGPT, like I'm like, what would be like a good name to call these like contemporary suits? And it was like smart swords, smart cups, smart, and I was like, I thought that was like so hilarious, so that's why I was like, genius, great job. Um, but yeah, did I answer this question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, that was. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dave. It's great to get this insight, and it's interesting that every kind of series in this project has like a different material. It feels a bit like it's. I don't know. I find this bit intriguing. Like, as you say, they do give the impression they could have been made out of sandstone at like any time, but they feel very almost like they're not made from that material. They feel like almost velvety. Some of them, others feel very rigid and archaic, and it's interesting how you've combined the motifs from different geographies, different histories, and made this series. And yeah, I'm just gonna check. Yeah, so Pavel says once you start exploring, it is the rabbit hole, and it's also great and intriguing. Which I obviously agree with. And you know, I think there's something. This work it just feels very playful in my experience, like because it's a card game. I can't. I don't. It's a very original idea. I think the execution is very well done, and everyone's loving the titles that come with these works and the title of the series as well. It's past, present, and future, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to wait for a few comments to come in. So Carolina asks, is the cover on the URL meant to be a back card, and that's why it's black and white?
Yeah, exactly. That's supposed to be the, like if it was a deck, that would be the back of the card. You got it.
Mm.
And black and white, I don't, yeah, just maybe for the pop, that when you turn it around, it's more exciting.
Fantastic. So this has multiple dimensions to it. Thank you, Carolina. That is a really great question. Yeah, let's just see. We've got a few people typing here. An observation from Espinosa.
I'm also kind of like, as a question for the group, like, this is like the most complete NFT project I've done. Like, I've made a lot of big art projects, but never like for my NFTs, I kind of just meant like almost like sketchbook pieces or something. And this is more of like a conceptual, like big thing. And I feel like it's gonna go somewhere again, like or next from here. So I like asking where people see it going or how it should be like developed more, how it should like speak better or something.
So this is a good turning of cards. Yeah, what do we think? Like, is this a good direction for Dave? I didn't actually realize you did like textbook works, text that kind of aesthetic before, Dave. So this is interesting. I didn't. It's quite a change.
I feel
sketchbook
like
is meaning like not super developed conceptual ideas, like things that are images that I don't know. That's all.
Yeah, cool. Anton.
yeah. I feel like it's really great direction because I don't find a lot of good and interesting work that explores spiritual side and great uh, presence of tarot and magic and so on. So when I saw this work, I was really impressed and amazed by the novelty and the contemporary side of it. And I feel like it's really inspiring for some people, including me, to explore this esoteric interest and esoteric themes. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth exploring more, and I would really like to see something from Dave in this direction. Yeah, so
Thank you, Anton. Yeah, that's some great feedback. Yeah, and interesting observation there from Ivan. And yeah, just is there any video game influence? I actually thought of like, I don't know if it's too far-fetched, but I thought of like Catan. Never played it, but that kind of mystic element certainly rang true.
Sure, yeah, definitely like that quality of illustration of like, yeah, dungeon or sort of, I don't know, like 90s airbrushy, that kind of, like you were saying, like that kind of soft quality to the image.
Cool. Okay, let's just see. Um, Carolina, would you? I'm not too familiar with I Ching. Could you elaborate?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just fine.
Okay, because I went outside, so I wasn't sure if the wind was blowing too much. um, so I Ching, it's another kind of divination tool, can be used that way, and it's a series of 2 trigrams, which is 3 lines each, and then forms each hexagram, which is 6 lines each, solid or broken. It's a really simple system. But the fact is, like, the way that one works is also that you can kind of interpret things line by line. And then there are like interpretations with regards to, like, did you ask a health related question? Did you ask I can't remember, a health and I don't know, life existential question, maybe something like that. So the general question, or there's sometimes the interpretation can be written in a way that kind of gives you the meaning based on what kind of question you asked, right? At least one of the books, I actually designed an I Ching book, and so that's how that's one of the ways that I got to study it. I happened to know the teacher, and I had studied with him, and then he wrote a book on it, or wrote an I Ching book. So in any case, that's like some just basic understanding of what it's about. And I was thinking that because some of these sort of answers may or may not relate to somebody's question easily, that somebody can interpret, that, not necessarily for this project, but if you were to continue along this track of like doing divination, things like, there could be actually like nuances to the way the answer is given depending on what kind of question the person might have asked. Just one idea,
Yeah.
something to think about.
Yeah, totally. I'm actually just like not. I'm like such a novice programmer, but I would love to get better by exploring different parameters for inputs and stuff, and having that affect the way that the answer is revealed or probably generated in the next version.
Because that, yeah, that sounds like a natural progression to the series. That's awesome, Carolina. I just Googled it whilst you were talking about it, and it's fascinating. So thank you. And yeah, we have a reference to John Cage here, who also apparently digged I Ching, which is cool. Emily comments, I probably wouldn't have known to do this and missed out on all the fun. So one tweak, allow for questions without a question mark, or if not, make it clear on the site that you need one. That's, yeah, I'd say that's a good point, because we did need that prompt in the beginning, but
That's true. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I'm such a beginning programmer, but that was something I spent like days on, like making sure that you needed a question mark. I don't know why. It was sort of like that's like a challenge I made for myself. But yeah, I think I just wanted something that kept people from just getting the immediate like oh, I just want to look through all the cards, and like something that making it like a little barrier to being able to do that and have to work for it a little bit.
interesting. Okay. So I think, yeah, I'll just give it one more minute and then we'll have to move on. Okay, cool. Thank you, Anton. So yeah, thank you, Dave, for that very intriguing experience. I can't say I've had one like that before. Certainly adds a new spin on collecting NFTs. And the element of digital art, past, present, future. Yeah, super project. And yeah, hope the feedback was helpful. Okay, so let's see who got next. Is Icasis here? I don't know if they're still here or not. Sorry, excuse me. If I sorry, man. Just like when it comes to handles, sometimes. I mean, yeah, Icasis. Yeah, excuse me. Would you be interested in going next? Cool, cool. Thank you for sending those through. Yeah. So we've got that. So we've got you. And thank you for your understanding. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far, by the way. I'm having a blast. So, yeah, it's super just talking about art. Cool stuff that everyone's doing. And yeah. So, okay, interesting. I think without further ado, we're going to give this 3 minutes, and we'll come back with initial thoughts after 3 minutes. Okay, starting now. Okay, everyone. What are our first thoughts? I can throw some in. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Dave. Mind warping, quite literally. Oh, so many elements going on in this work. Where can you begin? Um, uh, I think first thing to mention is that the execution is gorgeous. I love this isometric composition. All these elements and this big machine that we are seeing that is creating and seemingly destroying itself with a human subject. This all it is just so diligently crafted. That's the first thing that caught my eye. Nominal. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Emily and Nominal. Emily comments that she loves all the detail in this industrial future juicer. Yeah, because there is a juice. Yeah, it is a juicer. I keep looking and seeing something new, taking me time to digest. Maybe, maybe 3 minutes wasn't enough in this case. Nominal comments that they looked at a mousetrap the whole time. It reminds them of books that they read as a kid with moving parts and explosion diagrams. Their eyes are feasting, going over all the work, following the paths and of the object, and it feels like they're seeing something new every single second. The work keeps shifting and changing. And it does feel like a toy to be played with. Okay, and then because which then also feels depressing because of the iconography that it is used, that points to hypersexualization and the commodification of the body. It's fun and games. The treadmill suggests 24/7 non-stop nature of the space we are all part of and the technological realm we live in. Nominal, I think you win the prize for the most diligent piece of feedback. That was, yeah, so if we just unpack that, gamification is certainly there. I'm just trying to pass. There's so much feedback, and Espinosa comments, it's excellent feedback. The techniques are fantastic. They're not easy to animate like this at all. On top of the complex artwork, Espinosa would love to know more about the process, and also always appreciates when the artists use protected copyright IP like this. So thank you, Espinosa. We can get to that question in just a few minutes. Emily comments, would love to know where you started on this piece and how it evolved. Excuse me, what? No, nominal. It's a pleasure to read. Carolina comments, the level of detail is impressive. They feel like they've never seen everything. They've never seen everything, no matter how long it took her to look at it. It's fun, but it's serious, and there's a commentary there on contemporary culture. Yes, there is quite a lot to parse. I still don't even know where to begin. I just enjoy reading this text. Behave yourself. It's dehumanizing. And just maybe this, I don't know, it's like an extension of man. I feel like this is an extension of humanity. Please redact that last statement. What we impose on our environment as an extension of ourselves. Like, I get that kind of feeling. Dave comments, we saw a video of you drawing these earlier in the residency. How is that possible? And Sungrazer agrees, the execution is beyond impressive, and would love to know more about the process. Thank you for all of this feedback, everyone. This is really top tier. Yeah, so I think if everyone's okay with this, we will pass it on to Ivan. You have the floor, my friend.
Hey there, Harry. Hey, everyone. First of all, thank you for all the nice feedback and all your interesting words about these two pieces. Well, maybe I should start by this one. That's by Just okay, about this process. It's all hand drawn. It's everything is hand drawn on my iPad. So I basically always come up with an idea, basic idea of what I want to do. I start sketching. First, I do a sketch, then I make some kind of collage with some elements that I look for online. Some are some things are just reference from the internet, and some other things that I draw from my imagination. So when I have the concept, I start making the first sketch, and when the sketch is done, I start animating everything frame by frame on different layers. I decompose the entire thing on different layers, and it's very organic because I always have a basic idea of what I want to do, but I never know exactly how it's gonna end up looking. So it's like I'm going through a puzzle, a labyrinth. Like I'm discovering the way out at the same time that I'm drawing and animating. So, but coming back to this piece, it's like a reflection of all the content that we are bombarded with on the internet, and this is like just an spectator of everything that you see online. So sometimes you are exposed to things online that you would ever be exposed in real life. So this like it is a portrait of a person that's having some intern conflict, trying to know what to do. It has some temptations of online content, of online uh, how do you say it? Like, I mean, things that, like I said, things that you will never do in real life. So it's like the basic concept is this one, but I always like making um, leaving part of the story to the to the viewer, because there's a lot of things. It's every piece have like different meanings. This is the main meaning, but I was telling once a thing that I happened to me when I moved to Argentina. I was at exhibition exhibition, and I was selected to be one of the artists, but no one knew me because I had just moved there like a couple months ago. So I was there walking around the people, listening to what everyone was saying, and they didn't know that I was the artist. So I was listening to all the interpretations, and it was the best thing ever because there were some things so nice that I'm so crazy that I was listening, that it makes me feel even better about what I was doing, because it's I my main goal when I'm creating one of these pieces is to make the people go back and see it again. You know, when you go to an art show and there's a piece that you wanna keep looking and looking and looking until and you keep finding new things every time. Sorry, I think I took too much time. Sorry.
No,
So
no, no, no. This is the work. Um, your whole experience. Um, it just feels like a big moral question about everything. This piece.
yeah,
Um,
it's so moral. It's a big thing in this piece because it's it starts. It's the subject is taking all this information, and he ends up like locking himself up. I mean, like in a box, like in a trying to contain him, to restrain himself. So that's there's a lot of meaning behind the piece. So sorry, I talked too much. I say it all the time. I talk too much, and sorry for taking too much time.
no, thank you, thank you. So if I just compare it, firstly, it's amazing that all of this is done on iPad. Like that is amazing. I've never seen something with such detail come from an iPad. And yeah, so just looking back on Nominal's feedback, like their eyes are feasting, going over the work, and seeing something new all the time. That shifts and changes. There's an element of depression coming through where the man in this piece like puts himself into a box to try and make sense of everything that's going on. And there's definitely an element of a treadmill effect going on here with all these different bells and whistles. Dave says he sees it all now. So yeah, cheers. We just got a few more comments coming in, and see what everyone thinks. But thank you for sharing the concepts, Ivan, excuse me. I love the stipple effect. I know it's just a very dumb observation, but I love how finely detailed all of the layers are in this work. That must have taken you forever. Oh, sorry, Nominal. I just oh my goodness. Excuse me. But I'm glad that the feedback is transferable somewhat. Okay. Well, I mean, this is spinning it quite nicely. Yeah, just give this a few minutes, and then we, yeah, just see.
Yeah, sorry. I just don't express myself in writing, so I really would like to speak sometimes about what I see. And I feel this is really impressive work. I mean, so many details, everything is so smoothly moving, and it kind of took me back to my time like a couple of years ago when I had really thoughts of the society that I'm living in, and this is like really a big city life or something. The box we are living in, the society, the internet stuff, and it's also amazing how the man hides in the box, but he still shows up on this display. This is how I really felt in my hardest time. Yeah, like I said. So I think this piece is really incredible, Ivan. It's superb. Yeah, thanks.
So just to add, yeah, thank you, Anton. I was having an existential moment there as you're explaining that. Very much part of our culture right now. Nominal agrees. This is what it feels like to be a human in this moment. Emily asks, what is the translation of the 3 characters popping up on the screen? Yeah, these ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a representation of what I was saying, the temptations and all the content online, and I made it to like they are like statues, like sculptures, because the main idea is the main character is classic bust from the museum. So I wanted to make them feel like sculptures, like female sculptures. There. To be honest, I was working on a second part of this piece in which it was like the main character is a female figure, and it was exposed to different kind of objects, but it it's there. I have it. I started working on it, but I decided to make it work. Wait a little bit but it's I, I really love the things that I've been hearing from all of you, and I really appreciate all of your nice feedback.
Thank you, Ivan, and thank you guys this evening for presenting work which is just so well crafted, I have to say. Okay, so I think we have room for one more artist, and on my list, if they are here, is Estelle here today? Again, I forget handles sometimes, so please excuse me. Hmm. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I know I mentioned this last week, but oh gosh, sorry, Espinosa, I didn't hear that. I did. Yeah, I hope they feel better. So I think if anyone has any works in progress that they might be interested in sharing, or any finished pieces that you might want to get some feedback on, this is a free slot. If not, we can always talk just about the themes that we've run into today, how you're getting on in the residency. Oh, okay, nominal. You dropped a work in progress. We can certainly have a look at this. Oh yeah, sorry, we we talked about this yesterday. I'm so sorry. My brain. Okay. Is this okay with everyone? If we just have a look at Nominal's work to... Cool. Okay. So I think, yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Nominal, that'd be great. Hmm. Well, I think whilst we're waiting, I will just set. I'll just give us 3 minutes. Oh, super! Thank you. Okay, so no, it's fine. It's fine. That's fine. All right. So everyone, 3 minutes. Nominals piece. Starting now. Okay, so another playful piece. Thank you, Nominal. We have some feedback right out of the gate from Emily. Yet another feast for the eyes. They love the variety of your texture and lines and the way they play off each other and how you combine digital and analog processes and they feel so tangible in your work. It feels, yeah, it is a feast for the eyes. What we get straight away is just, it feels like layer upon layer upon layer. There's been a call and response between just the different outlines that have been applied, the fills that have been there. It's interesting. It's like this could be a generative work, and it also could be a painting, you know, like on a traditional stretcher. I think it straddles between what has been happening in painting over the past few years, trying to imitate digital techniques and just this kind of play you can get with software. And then on the other hand, it could be generative and it could be as far flung from that idea as possible. But it's right in the middle, at least to me, which I think is a good place to be. I love these shapes as well. I'm not sure what these shapes, they feel so familiar. I mean, yeah, like rope, or maybe that's a knife. Some lace, maybe. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. There's a lot of materiality going on here as well, which is very delicious. Carolina comments, it seems to be an interesting combination of painting and drawing and digital patterns. She likes the areas where there seems to be some transparency between the layers and the areas of incompleteness with the empty outlines in some spaces. Yes, yeah, me too, actually. So I'm guessing around here. Yeah, that is interesting because it is quite, if we zoom out, it is quite intense. The frame is pretty much completely consumed by overlap. So that's an interesting point, Carolina. Yeah, these outlines in the blank space. Alt-non comments, I'm kind of seeing a land art map. Interesting observation. Or infographics, but also dance. I'm very interested to hear more about the process. So yeah, interesting, land art. You know, land art, I've not heard of land art for a long time. I don't know why, but it does have that kind of bigger geographic map aesthetic going on with it. It feels very, I want to say borderline commercial, and I think it's, when I zoom out and I look at some of these shapes, they look like, and they look like, I don't know, the bottom of a trainer or some laces, some kind of iconography, maybe like a tennis racket. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but I don't know. Ivan comments that they absolutely love it. The combination of brushstrokes, textures, and the digital wireframe that feels like it was drawn in AutoCAD. Interesting observation. Would love to know more about the process. Dave comments, the textures are so organic, and then there are clues in the patterns that look generative. The palette is like a Basquiat 80s NYC style. Nice, very nice. Carolina comments, it's a tangle, but very contained in the frame, so it doesn't go towards wallpaper. Like a repeat pattern. Like a very specific tangle, not an infinite tangle that goes on forever. So it's like chaos, but contained chaos, deliberate.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Anton.
I just wanted to say that from afar, this piece, it looks brutal, kind of. But when you zoom in, you realize how gentle it is and how soft those textures are. I feel like texture, blue background. It feels so real. It's just like wall in my apartment. I feel I feel like it's real. Yeah, and I love the colors and a lot of details, and it's kind of like journey through this work by the different shades of colors and this blue that plays with red and black background. It's really fascinating and interesting to walk through this work. Yeah, I feel it's really great. Yeah, I love it. Thanks.
Thank you, Anton. Yep, and Dave has put the basket there. Yeah, let's cross reference for a sec. Yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. I can see the resemblance. That's interesting. So I think what Anton just commented on, like, it looks like the blue in the background, which is sort of what Carolina was pointing out, is reminiscent of wallpaper in a room, and perhaps this is a mural of some kind. It could be, yeah, and maybe it's a basket work in the making. I think this, when you brought that up, Anton, I thought, like, yeah, this could be a big work. It looks some kind of, I don't know, I feel like some elements feel kind of commercial. I think it's just these kind of overlap, which isn't a bad thing. I just think some of these shapes feel very illustrative and interesting middle point. Yeah, I'll just give it another minute. Yeah, deconstructed basket. I like that. Okay, so I think without further ado, and we'll just let the comments come in as they happen. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for looking at my work. So this is very much a work in progress. So I was really interested to just get any feedback on where it's at. The work actually starts off as a drawing in the iPhone Notes app. So, you can like use the highlighter and stuff. And I started making these just kind of finger drawings to help deal with like anxiety in general, and just kind of like moving my finger around and having a tactile connection to this object that often stresses me out. But this was like a nice way to interact with it. And I started realizing, I was like, oh, maybe I should do something with this drawing. And so I took a screenshot of the drawing, brought it into Illustrator, and basically did image tracing on the drawing so that I could get the different layers. And basically from there, move these different pieces of this finger drawing around using different fills, which I then vectorized and had my pen plotter actually plot the drawing and all of the fill. So you can see the black line on the right-hand side, the rope that's kind of coming down with the green. So if you zoom in, you can actually see the sort of horizontal pen marks that are from the scan of the drawing that the pen plotter made. So then I bring that back into the digital realm through scanning, and I use Rebel, so utilizing that sort of hyper realism of using this digital paint and these digital tools to then actually like paint and draw on many layers, and lots of erasing, a lot of detailed work, trying to get everything to kind of match up and look like it all sits together and sort of stitched together in this way. So that is the process behind it. And I really love, I love the Basquiat reference. That's amazing. I totally would never put that together. So that's really fascinating. But yeah, it's a lot of my work is, I think, exploring this sort of contained, deliberate chaos and the sort of internal, like a lot of my work is like an internal map of sort of where I'm at and how I can sort of represent that in whatever way possible. So I'm sort of interested, yeah, I'm seeing where it's going to go. But this feedback is really helpful.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining it in such detail. That's amazing, just about the pen plotter combined with the notes and Illustrator. And, you know, I just would never have thought that Illustrator would have been used for this. Like, it just looks so organic. And I found it interesting, this where we talked about a map. Like, this is, from what you described, Nominal, it's a mind map of sorts. And we saw it more of perhaps like a land art. And I just, that kind of comparison. I mean, I think that's a great observation from the audience, like that land art versus like a state of mind, or are very similar. And yeah, and Emily comments, yeah, that you experiment with every tool, and it really does show. Like, just very, it's just delicious. I think it's got loads of influences running through it. It's very fresh and very, very playful. So thank you. And I think, does anyone have any last comments? Phenomenal at this stage. Okay, so oh, I guess phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. That's perfect. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, deconstructed Basquiat. Great way of describing this piece. See a few comments typing away. No, okay. It's just puns on phenomenal. Nominal. Okay, so thank you, Nominal. That's been a great way to conclude this second crypto art critique. Thank you guys for coming today. It's been a blast as it was last time, and it's always a pleasure to see you and the works that you've created. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming in, tuning in at all different times of the world. You know, it's really cool, very cool of you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. I'll let you guys know when it's coming up, and if you'd like to send like a work in progress or a finished piece, then just put it in the sixth cohort chat or in the DMs, and we'll have a critique. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you then. Okay. Catch you later.